Okay, in the previous video we have a memory error. So when we rendered the wireframes, the graphics card ran out of memory. So if you encounter something like this, go to the anti-alias settings and reduce the sample count from 16 to 8. Okay, I think this is only unique to the graphics card here. Okay, so right now we have 3 different images rendered. We have the wireframe, we have the grayscale. Okay, this is the wireframe. Then we have the grayscale, and we have the shaded version, okay, of the sword. So now we're going to combine these 3 images in After Effects. Okay, so right now I'm going to close my Maya, okay, so that I have enough memory. And I will run After Effects. Now the dagger for this version of Maya is rendered at 24 frames per second. So depending on the frame rate that you are using, for me I'm recommending you guys to use 25 frames per second. So when you are setting up the After Effects composition, make sure you set it at the correct frame rate. So right now, while we are waiting for After Effects to set up or boot up, one thing you need to consider is the frame rate for the project. So currently we have nothing in this After Effects, so we need to create a new composition. Okay, so click on New Composition, and right now the preset is already set to HDTV 108024, which is the frame rate that we are going to be using. And because we are running at 24 frames per second and there are 200 frames, so 200, if you divide it by 24, is roughly about more than 8 seconds. So we're going to put it at 10 seconds for composition. And then we're going to give the name a composition. We call it the okay, I'm just going to call this composition dagger. Okay, and then click OK. So once you have the composition, you can roll your mouse to zoom in and zoom out. And your bin here right now is empty. You need to bring in the image sequences. And we have 3 different image sequences. So right mouse click over here and click on Import File. And select the images. Okay, right now I have to go and locate the images. And I'm going to detail it. So the first image sequence I'm going to bring in is the textured version of the dagger. So under the window here, make sure that the Targa sequence is enabled, so that when you bring in the first file, After Effects will automatically recognize the entire sequence. So I'm clicking on the first file. Now what is the first file? The first file is the Targa underscore 001. So click Open, and you want to use like the alpha. What type of alpha is it? If it's straight, it will not be transparent. So you can click on Guess, and then it will guess that there is a transparency on this image when you render as a Targa. Then click OK. So now you notice that the image has been brought in. There are frames 001 to 200, and instead of bringing it as 200 files, it is brought in as a sequence of files. So you can grab this sequence and dump it on the composition. Okay, just click and drag and drop it on the composition. If you scrub the timeline of After Effects, you can preview the sword. Okay, so now the next image sequence we're going to bring in is the grayscale. So we're going to bring in the grayscale again. We're going to bring in the image number 1. Okay, this is very important. Remember to bring in the first one After Effects will recognize this as an image sequence when it detects other numbers following it. So now again we're going to pre-multiply it with the transparency. If you don't know, you can try clicking on guess. Okay, this one still doesn't have it. We're going to ignore this. Wait, I think we'll try pre-multiply and then click OK. So now we have the grayscale, and then we're going to drag this down to the timeline. Okay, so over here you can see the eyeballs of the After Effects. Simply means that you can enable the layer or not. So it's just like Photoshop. If you click on the eyeball, it will show the layer on top, and then without the eyeball, the layer below is revealed. Okay, now finally I'm going to bring in the wireframe. Okay, bring in the wireframe number 1, and we're just going to use the pre-multiplied version and then click OK, and we're going to put the wireframe right on top. Okay, so now we have the wireframe. Okay, we have the diffuse, and we also have the grayscale. So how do we blend between them? Okay, so we're going to apply a pre-multiply, or rather a multiply on top of the grayscale first. Okay, multiply is not working for me. I'm going to try another one. I'm going to invert this first. Okay, couldn't find the invert here. Okay, doesn't matter. We will put all this into a layer first. Okay, right now you don't have any backgrounds because there's a transparency on all the 3 images. So you need to create a solid. Okay, under here click on new and then click on solid. Okay, we're going to create a light background, and then we can put this behind. So you can change it to whatever color you want. Okay, I'm going to stop the video for now. Okay, until I figure out how to make this line inverted. Then we'll continue in the next video.